NGO Equal Education is concerned about the non-payment of contractors in the Eastern Cape. 37 schools are under construction in the area. Some suppliers are walking off the sites, saying they are owed an estimated 104 million rand. For more on this, we are now joined by Amanda Rinquest from Equal Education in the Eastern Cape. Amanda, thank you very much for your time. Does the national government not have this 104 million rands, or is this money being deliberately withheld for whatever reason?
Good evening, and thank you so much for having me on your show. So this is not an issue of deliberately being held or not having the money. This is an issue of too many middlemen involved in building schools, and too many procurement steps, and too many gates that need too many administrative tasks that need to happen before payment can happen. So, for example, the ECD, or the Eastern Cape Education Department, gives all of these implementing agents, including the Department of Public Works, the task of overseeing running those schools. They then employ surveyors and professionals, and those professionals oversee contractors. And so your line between the school and the department is filled with 9 or 10 different organizations that need to make sure it's processed. And so by the time you've worked through all of those 9 or 10 people in what is an administratively lacking province, you're going to have payment that has been made months late after contractors have walked out.
But then, I mean, if that's a model that they have chosen for whatever reason, they should make it work. They can't turn around and say, because this is how we do it, we therefore have a problem. Because at the end of the day, it's about building those schools and getting the people who are building those schools paid.
Exactly. And the department, so historically, if we look at it, the Department of Public Works in the Eastern Cape hasn't always had the capacity to do what the Department of Public Works does in other provinces. And so because there's a lack of capacity amongst the department in the Eastern Cape, jobs are spread across lots and lots of different contractors, stakeholders, and implementing agents. And as a result, this is the model that the Eastern Cape has chosen, and this model has resulted in such a backlog. So either we must capacitate Department of Public Works themselves to employ the necessary contractors, overseers, quantity surveyors, or we need to work on making sure that we uphold the PMFA and pay contractors within the 30 days as prescribed.
So it's not national government then that is at fault here, or is there something that one is missing?
This is not an issue where national government is at fault per se. This is an issue of there needing to be proper communication between the implementing agents, the Department of Basic Education, the Department of Education in the Eastern Cape, and National Treasury. When you have an issue as important as school infrastructure, it's going to involve a number of stakeholders, and therefore there needs to be proper communication to make sure that schools are built, and they're built quickly so that learners learn in safe conditions.
Okay, let me put this differently. Whose fault is it, or who should take responsibility?
Okay, if the buck has to stop at the Eastern Cape Education Department.
And those are the people who are not doing their job.
Those are the people who seem to be slow in doing their job. You can't expect a small black-owned business to wait 60, 90, 120 days for you to make payment when the Treasury regulations and the PMFA say that you must pay them within 30 days. So you cannot expect small black-owned businesses to do the work out of pocket. And so if you're not going to make sure that your internal processes are quick and speed up the process so that businesses can get on, you cannot be surprised when contractors walk out. But this is a sad reality, and it's a sad reality because at the one end you have basic right to education and wanting the basic right to be a safe right, a right that where there's proper school infrastructure, but at the same time you can understand the very real and pressing issues of small businesses. And so again, there is an issue of political will, as it always is the case in the Eastern Cape. We need to be pushing pushing for school infrastructure rollout to happen quicker. And then we hope that the new MEC, Equal Education, is going to make sure that this happens.
That was going to be my next question, Amanda, whether from what you've seen, heard, there is a willingness, political willingness on the part of the provincial government to get to the bottom of this and actually resolve it.
Well, I do believe that there is some political will. Equal Education has been having quarterly meetings with all these implementing agents, as well as the Department of Education, every quarter this year. And so we hope that this has been a platform where implementing agents have raised the issue of late payment and how we run the risk of contractors walking out. But this has been raised at 2 of our previous meetings, and we have another meeting next Friday where I'm sure it will be raised again. And let's hope that they begin to take this seriously. That's the first thing. The second thing is there's a new MEC in the Eastern Cape that has replaced the late MEC Mandla Makopula. He enjoys the support of a lot of people in the Eastern Cape, and we really hope that his appointment is the start of a new dawn in the Eastern Cape where we have political will to fix the school infrastructure crisis. So hopefully Mr. MEC Mboko will be at our meeting next Friday.